Welcome to the Empower Women Show with Jane Trimble, the show that elevates and empowers women in the community by sharing their story and showcasing their business. With me today in the studio is Rachel Drew from Cadence. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Why don't we start to share who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Sure. I am from Saskatoon, born and raised here, spent a number of years traveling abroad to figure out who I am and where I want to go and what I want to be when I grow up. I guess maybe I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
And I am the founder and CEO at Cadence, an estate technology company.
I love it. Okay, estate technology company.
Yes.
Break that down into common language for me so I can understand.
Yeah, so obviously there's many things to do, as I'm sure you and everyone watching know after someone passes away. This was something that I experienced myself after my mom had died.
Okay.
And so what our product does is support families through that post-loss experience with grief care and estate support.
Wow. So it's a product.
Yes.
What is the product?
It's a technology product.
Okay.
And so what I found when I went through it is everything was manual. You're filling in dozens, possibly hundreds of forms, talking to a whole bunch of companies to navigate the estate of your loved one at a time when you're really not able to cope and process things in general.
Yeah.
And there was really not a lot of good support, and to me that really felt like something that needed to be fixed. And so that was really when I got on to the mission to do that and sold my other company and decided to pour myself fully into this.
Good for you. I love it. And when you say technology, is it sort of is it an app? Is it your own software? Somebody will go into a portal and then they have their own profile and they can, it helps them manage everything?
Yeah, it's a web application. And so we actually work directly with funeral homes, which has been such a inspiring and beautiful experience. The work that, funeral directors do when a loved one passes away, obviously it had a huge impact on my life. And so it's been such a privilege for us to work with the funeral homes.
Wow.
And then they actually provide Cadence to all of their families.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of, they say that, a good business is like, how has this not been done before? It seems really obvious, but it obviously wasn't.
I've heard that so many times, and it's so true because it does seem obvious. We all have to go through it.
Yes,
It's not something you can avoid. It's something we're all going to navigate, and something that our lives have become more complex over the years. We never used to have all of the online accounts and digital assets and all of those kind of things. We're not just selling and dealing with, a house and a newspaper subscription anymore.
No.
There's so many things that you have to deal with when someone passes away. And it's crushing. It's crushing to go through that when you have no support and no guidance on what you need to do and how to do it.
I can imagine. So I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your mother, which was sort of your story which led you to this, amazing adventure in your own life. But do you want to dive into that a little bit more? What was your experience and what were the ins and outs of that made you go, I've got to do something about this for other people?
Yeah, well, my mom passed away. It's hard to believe now. It's just been over 10 years. She passed away in 2010, and obviously I was pretty young at that time, so I was in my early 20s, and at that point, solo parenting two really little kids under 3 and trying to navigate this situation after my mom had passed away. She didn't live long after her terminal diagnosis, so it was relatively sudden, and it was just something that I had no idea. I thought we had everything planned. I thought we kind of knew what was happening. And, a lot of people think, oh, there's a will, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, 50% of people don't even have a will.
Yeah.
So there's that issue, obviously, at the start of things. But what I didn't realize was everything else that I had to deal with after that. And my dad wasn't able to, which was a really strong indicator to me of like, people can't really cope with this. And then I spent years, I was at that time still running my other business, and I spent years researching the problem, understanding it, talking to people who've been through it. I do some volunteer work in hospice, so caring for people at the end of their life, and it just seemed like such a common problem. As you said, obvious problem, like why has this not been fixed? But people don't like thinking about death.
No.
it just seems to be something that people turn away from and shy away from, but I think it's something that's, so important for us to acknowledge and, give grace to people who are going through that and give them the support that they need.
Did you at any point when you were young think to yourself, I want to be, when I grow up, come up with something that helps people with death?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It seems like that would be an obvious no, and it sort of is.
Yeah.
But sort of not. For some reason, from the time that I was little, I was always really closely connected with death, and I really have no explanation as to why that is, but it was something that was always important to me, I guess. Maybe it was, experiencing the loss of all of my grandparents when I was young. Maybe that was something that made an impact, but it's been something that I have cared a lot about for a long time. And so it really almost felt like a natural fit. And my other company that I had was occupational health and safety. So I always kind of found it funny. At one point, I was trying to keep people safe at work and prevention of serious accidents that could kill somebody, and now I'm helping support families through that loss. So it feels kind of full circle to me.
I love it. It strikes me as something that you're gifted at, like that you have a gift, and if you don't mind me saying, I feel that even from your personality and your essence and your kind of, you have that energy about you, something very calm and otherworldly about you, so it's really beautiful. And so you said as well before that you did this as a single mom at one point, which is wild. How many kids do you have?
I have two, and that was when they were little, so it was only during the period of time when they were really young. So fortunately I have amazing support now. Good. But I definitely always picked very strange times to start businesses. That was right when I started my first business, was in the midst of all of that.
Wow.
And then, obviously I waited a while to start Cadence and took my time to be able to know what I was planning to get into. And I'm not a technical person.
Right.
So here I am starting a tech company as a non-technical founder, which has its own hurdles. So I had so many things to learn, and I'm still learning all the time from my team and my mentors that I'm so grateful for. But you need a team and a family and support to really be able to do those things, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. It's something, a mission of the show is to highlight women in unconventional roles, and I know women in tech is definitely something that's still growing. Can you go into a bit more about, so you say you have a team around you, how do you sort of draw upon the strengths of other people in the day-to-day running of your tech business, not being a tech person?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't do it without the team that has come together to create this and bring it to life. And certain things you can do a little bit more on your own, but when you're building something like technology or something that is impacting, a broad range of people, and everyone's estate is unique, we have to remember that. So it's all has to be customized to that unique individual's personal needs. So it was definitely a labor of love, and one that, I'm not the only one on my team who has experienced loss and been through that with their families or friends or loved ones before. So I feel like the passion and the care for it is just permeates through our whole entire team. That energy that maybe you said you felt from me, I feel like that is also, the experience that I have when I am sitting with my team and inspired by them.
And what's the vision for the company? Where do you see it going?
Oh, well, that's a big one. So for us, we're already available all across Canada, all across the US. So we have had some really, really strong momentum, which has been nice. And thank goodness we've been able to connect with really incredible, innovative, forward-thinking funeral directors and funeral homeowners who just want to support families more. That everything doesn't end at the time of the service. That's actually where the start begins for that family as they're going through their experience of transitioning to a new life. We don't lose grief. It doesn't go away. It just changes. It changes us. It changes how we view things. And it's also a reminder of the beauty of what we have right now.
It's lovely that it sounds like you support the emotional journey as well as the practical, estate planning, death, after death care. You're as much put emphasis on the emotional journey of the person.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we first started, we did focus a lot on the administrative side of things. And then we realized really quickly that you can't uncouple grief from the administrative component of estate settlement. And so now it really is a core to our whole entire product, because sometimes that's what you need to deal with at that time, is whatever your grief experience is. And other times, then you can deal with all of the administrative things. Yes. But you need to balance both. So that's why it was so important to us to make sure that we were providing both.
I'm going to take a moment to thank our sponsors. The Empower Women Show would like to thank our sponsors, Undercover Creators, The Clean Squad, 24 Hour Signs, and Donald Physiotherapy for supporting us in amplifying women's voices throughout the province. We couldn't do this without you. And Rachel, if somebody wanted to get in touch and find out more about Cadence and what the service that you guys provide, where do they find you?
They can go to cadencecode.com and they can access us there, and they can find all the details to reach us on social media and online that way.
Amazing. And then is it as simple as I'm sure there's an initial consultation, and then you take it from there?
Yeah, so what happens is through the funeral home, it's provided by them, and so the family receives an invite to the platform via text or email, and of course people can reach out to us directly as well, and we can get them set up in that way. We never want to limit it if people really need support, but typically it is delivered directly through the funeral home, a really trusted, caring professional at that time of end of life. And so that's usually how people are accessing it.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your very inspiring story and the success of your company. Long may it continue.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here with you today.
Amazing. Until next time. Queens belong on thrones. Let's put them there. Effective social media marketing is so much more than posting pretty pictures on Instagram and Facebook. Undercover Creators are a female-owned social media marketing company in Saskatoon. Find them at undercover-creators.com. The Empower Women Show merch available at theempowerwomenshow.ca.